I don't watch any SEC baseball, but I have it on because single elimination baseball is chaos. Really, it's like anything can happen. And I think Major League Baseball, and I almost hesitate to say this because I love baseball and I know baseball fans and the baseball purists out there would not like this. But I think an in-season, like the NBA Cup, a kind of a single elimination 5-round tournament in July when baseball actually has the spotlight. Because when the season starts, it's basketball, it's hockey.
Yeah.
And then you get to July where everyone, okay, this is now.
You have the All-Star break. People will watch the home run derby still.
Yeah.
Watch guys hit dingers.
As long as, like, the stars are playing in it, and that's the other problem, too, even with that.
Well,
that's sort of lost its luster a little.
But stars is a loose term in that sport, too.
I mean, Shohei Ohtani.
Outside of Ohtani.
He has to be in it. That should have happened.
But to your point, it reminds me of they used to kind of do this. Interleague play was always after.
It was in July.
After the All-Star break.
Yes.
And then you would have your Subway Series, right? You would get to see teams play each other that otherwise normally wouldn't. I don't know why they got rid of that. So that's part of where I'm like, I don't know if it would make it better because, TJ, I don't know about you. Were you locked into the NBA Cup? Were you NBA Cupper?
No, I don't like the NBA Cup.
Do you watch the NBA?
No, not really.
Okay,
I mean, NBA playoffs, but I'm in the winter. College basketball consumes my basketball watching.
Yeah, which is fair. But the ratings were up on the NBA Cup.
I was admittedly one of them for the final game, which Pacers beat the Lakers. Is that right?
The Lakers beat the Pacers.
But the NBA Cup isn't even what I'd be looking for in regards to something similar in a baseball format. I think the NBA Cup could be cooler and better and it's what I would want MLB to do. I think an in-season MLB tournament, if you put it around the All-Star weekend, and I don't know, it'd have to be at least a week, probably 2 weeks. Single elimination, every team is involved. No team is left behind. Every team is involved. I think it'd be cool to have it in one city. Maybe you'd have to do 2 for a certain amount of rounds, but you'd get everybody together for the finale around the All-Star game. It would just be for cash and pride. But baseball single elimination is a little different. There's really nothing like it. There's nothing else. And that's not what the NBA in-season cup is because they have like league standings.
It's a pool play
and
sort of
deal. They do a pool play and then it's a tournament. So it's almost just like a mini NBA season within the NBA season, even though it's the NBA season cup. I'm talking about a true bona fide tournament. You could play 1 game, you could play 4 or whatever the max amount of games would be.
Yeah, I think it would be 5. 5 total. But how about the Final Four in the championship in the Field of Dreams?
I love that. I love that as
awesome.
well. But I think that would be cool. And then to even take it one step further, if you really want to get wacky on a Wednesday, you could potentially, you know what? MLB, we'll get all of you all make a team, get a team. We're doing this single elimination. And every farm system team gets a team too.
Oh, so the U.S. Open Cup.
Yeah,
it'd be a
like
U.S.
that.
Open Cup.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we do single A, double A, and triple A.
But just
But maybe
AAA.
like the Reds farm system under the label of the Louisville Bats. And if you need to take a double A or single A player for whatever reason,
get
you
your
go
best
ahead and do that.
prospects, move them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the prospects. And you know what? Let's better hope the prospects teams don't make a run because that'd be kind of embarrassing for the MLB.
That would
But
be something that would that gets baseball hype everywhere. Now you get it in and you get it in Chattanooga. Oh, they're double A. But you get it in Louisville. You get it in these triple A cities. I love that.
I think that could be fun. At that point, you take it from like a 30-team tournament. You go up. You could make it like a true 64 team. Have people filling out baseball brackets in the middle of July.
People love filling out brackets.
Single
Love
elimination
brackets.
allows you to do that. That would be pretty entertaining.
And it coincides with our favorite single elimination tournament is right around that time, the TBT. So we love single elimination tournaments. However, I do. Here's where my fear is, and maybe you can speak more to this, Peake.
Okay.
The in-season tournaments that are successful elsewhere, that are happening right now across the pond.
Right.
you've got your Tottenham Hotspur shirt
I
on.
do.
So tell us what they're playing in today.
Today at 3 o'clock, they will be playing in the Europa League final against Manchester United. They haven't won a trophy in 17 years. They haven't won something in Europe since like 84. So this is big for them.
But what happens if they win the trophy?
They get to go to next year's Champions League. Now, what's funny is they're having the worst season they've ever had. They're in 17th in the Premier League. Manchester United having the worst season they've ever had. They're 16th. But so now you have two of the last two teams before relegation
are playing each other for a spot in the biggest
and a meaningful trophy. Yeah.
League ever.
I'm still interested in my 17th place team, and it's at the end of the season.
So that's a good case for it. But the part that I think just hurts American sports is there's not, like, what are the stakes for this trophy besides the trophy?
Well, what are the stakes for the World Series? Like, what is it? What do you get? You get to buy a T-shirt if you're a fan of the team. Like, that's it.
Yeah,
like,
but
what do you? I mean, it's fun.
But getting to go to the Champions League is a like that's
yes,
that's a real tangible thing.
It is. It is.
You wouldn't get from winning an MLB Cup. But to your point, that I think would be cool, especially for a team like the Cincinnati Reds, who that is my default team, and they are great at getting my hopes up just enough to pay attention and then get mad that I paid attention. They won 5 straight games, and then they lost to the Pirates. And I'm like, well, of course they did. That's what you do, the Reds. But single elimination of baseball is dumb enough, and their starting pitching is actually good enough where maybe they could go on a run. Where, all right, they're probably not going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to be in that fringe. But what if they did just randomly get hot in July and win this baseball cup?
Yeah, that's kind of what it provides.
I'm for it too.
Yeah.
So another soccer analogy here. Crystal Palace is a team that's 12th in the Premier League. Last Saturday, they won the FA Cup. Fans are crying. They're running into the streets. They're not winning the national championship. They're not winning their league's championship, but they won the Open Cup. And because there is, that tournament has a long history. So that's the thing with the NBA Cup. I think it's going to be a marker for success down the road.
Right.
They might adjust it how they do it a little bit. I actually like the idea of just an open single elimination tournament better than how they do it.
But 10 years from now, you're thinking that this will have a lot more juice than the kind of novelty initially.
Yeah, I was in Milwaukee's arena for the NCAA tournament. There's a banner hanging up that says NBA Cup champions on it. And the Lakers did the same thing. It will matter. And when you are one of the last few teams who haven't won it,
oh, yeah,
you're going to want it.
The Heat is going to be on.
Yeah, you're going to want it.
Maybe on the Heat.
And then if there's a team who runs off 3 in a row, it kind of becomes Kentucky, like Kentucky feels about the SEC tournament. You kind of that's our tournament. We always win that. The Pacers have a good record in this thing, I think, too. So that would be great if especially if it's one of the small market teams. Yeah.
If they are they may not have the budget big enough to win the World Series and compete with the Dodgers, but you see them in the MLB Cup.
Yeah.
Watch out.
All right, and how about the White Sox? I know they're not a small market team, but what are they?
They suck.
They are terrible. But let's just say they're playing in these MLB Cup games, and they're throwing their ace while the other teams are just in their rotation, treating it as another game.
You're right.
And so you get the best version of the White Sox that day. Who knows?
Would they give the Pope an MLB Cup ring?
Oh, yeah. You have to do all the same stuff.
Yeah.
You have to make it feel like it matters. Because in the moment, now, when you get to October, no one will care who won that.
But in July?
In the moment, it will matter.
Right before talking season begins in college football? Sign me up. I guess the logistics, we'll let the schedulers figure out the logistics of doing a single elimination baseball tournament. And then what happens if you lose and then you still need to play games? Because that's...
Just keep the Mondays open for 5 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And you play on Monday.
There you go.
And then maybe for the Final Four, you want to do Monday, Tuesday. You want to do them back to back. That way, people don't have to stay in Iowa.
Love the Field of Dreams idea for the final.
So who do we go to? Who you all have a contact?
It's a good question. I don't currently have a contact at Major League Baseball, but it's a genius idea. We've been good idea machines today.
So many good ideas.
And maybe somehow we can make the All-Star game worth something in regards to the in-season tournament somehow.
Maybe they get home field advantage.
Ooh,
so
because
if the,
Peake,
that's what you do.
I've got to ask you that because I loved when the All-Star game in baseball meant home field advantage for the World Series. Did it really make sense? Was it totally fair that a team that had 15 or 20 more wins could be the under or the away team in the series or not have home field advantage? No, it didn't totally make sense. But why do an All-Star game and just make it totally meaningless either? I think that doesn't make sense. So I greatly miss when the All-Star game actually mattered for something. And at the end of the day, home field advantage, you're playing entirely different schedules whether you're in the AL or NL. So why is it fair if I play a much easier schedule so I get home field advantage in the World Series? So it was all somewhat trivial and random anyways. So I miss it. Maybe if you do an in-season baseball tournament, you can make the All-Star game meaningful in that tournament somehow.
Yeah, I think what you do is you just have the first round be an American League team plays a National League team, and whoever wins the All-Star game,
Ooh,
all
like
those teams host.
Yeah.
All throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, now it affects every team and not just the one team from your league.
That's a great idea. And that way it's like, oh, we're just a bum team in the All-Star game. Why would I care about who gets home field advantage in the World Series? Well, you know what? In the play-in tournament, you're all the same. You're all equal. So even though you've had a rough go of it, you just need to get hot for a few games.
And those players will want to win it because they won't want to have another day of travel. So they'll want to win that All-Star game. We'll get people colliding at home plate again.
The other, we always say that college basketball has the most tangible home court advantage. But in baseball, you get to literally bat last. You get a chance to level the score if you're down. You get one more swing at it.
You know how many runs you got to have.
Yeah.
Like if there's a runner at second, if there's a runner at second, nobody out, do you or a runner at first, do you bunt him over to second? In the top half, well, maybe not because you might need more runs, right? I mean, But if it's the bottom half and you know you only need one.
And Roush, you talked about this. I forget what sport you were talking about it, but wanting a sport, or no, you were talking about it with the Belmont and 4th of July and how great it'd be if those two things were paired up. Playoff baseball in October is great, and I think at the end of the day, most people, when they think of baseball, probably do think of the playoffs, and there's a crisp in the air and all that sort of stuff. But have this in-season tournament around 4th of July, or at least the championship around 4th of July.
Really
you have hot dogs, you've got burgers, you've got it getting dark at 9:30 at night. You turn on the TV, and you've got the Yankees taking on whoever, taking on the Reds in the semifinals of the first ever play-in tournament.
At the Field of Dreams, and then they launch off red, white, and blue fireworks as the game ends. That's America, baby.
It'd be great. And I'm all for it.
And I really don't think this is us just being crazy talking about this on Peake My Interest Wednesday. I think this is a real thing that could happen. We're talking about a league that changed its rules to put extra base runners on second in extra innings to shorten the games. The pitch clock, huge success. I think there's a lot of people who are very much against the extra innings rules. But if you show them the NBA Cup's ratings numbers, I think there's people in that Major League Baseball office that'll be like, guys, we got to do something like this. Yeah. So let's send the tape to Rob Manfred. I call him Uncle Bob. Yeah. So we'll get this to him, and I think he'll be convinced.
Well, I think it is something that it does pique your interest at a time when you have that little window where no one's thinking about the NBA and no one's thinking about the NFL. It's perfect. So just do it right then.
The boys of summer.
Yes.
I love it. I think it's a genius idea. Well done. That will be our Piqued Our Interest for this week. But Peake, I've got a